back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto, and today I'm here to talk to you about Schelling points. All right, we're gonna do a bit of an experiment today. By the way, check out the merch, FOMO21, not sponsored yet, but today we're talking about Schelling points. All right, I want to do an experiment. I need you to participate. Leave a comment in order for this to work. Right now, I want you to comment down below. All right, just type it. Don't send it yet. Type where on this map, what coordinate on this map do you think the most people would concentrate on? Imagine you're playing a game and you need everyone to agree on the exact same point. What point are you going to pick where you're thinking other people are going to pick that point? What point are you going to pick on this map? What coordinate? Type it in the comments. Don't send it. Type it. Now let's see if you were right. Let's see if you all converged on the same point, okay? The point that most people will converge on, given these coordinates, is C3. The second most likely point, right, is A1. Why is this the second most? The reason why C3 is the most commonly picked answer on this grid is because it is the only point that has a center focus. It's the only focal point. If this is a target range, right, this is a bullseye. It has a central point on the grid. Now, A1 is obviously the first point on the grid. And some people might think, okay, people are going to gravitate to the first thing they see. It might be the first grid square on the map. But because there's a center point, most people focus on the center, right? That's just our bias. Now imagine if we change the board, all right? Let's change the board and we erase the E file and then we erase the 5 file. Now I want you to do the exact same thing. What point are you going to pick on this map? There's no longer a focal point. Which point are you going to pick on this map? Type it in the comments. Get ready to send it, all right? Because this is the last test. We're just doing 2 tests, all right? Where on this map are you picking? If you chose A1, then now you'd be correct because there is no focal point, right? The only logical place to go, right, would be A1 because you would assume, okay, now this is the first thing. These are the first grids. This is the first cell in the grid. There's no other cell in particular that really matters. I guess you could say the last cell, but most people aren't thinking that way. Most people are thinking we're going to go to the first cell. It's the first thing. It's the first point of contact. There is no central cell. So this makes the most sense. What is that called? What is that called when we all gravitate towards something without having to communicate, right? Without there needing to be a central point where we meet up and cooperate in terms of finding a point. That's called a Schelling point. People naturally arrive at these points. Let's use another example. Let's say that we both agree, hey, we're going to meet up somewhere in New York, all right, at noon. We're going to meet up at noon in New York, but we cannot coordinate any further than that. We're just going to meet up in New York at noon. Where are you going to try to go to meet the person? You're not just going to go to some random place. You're not just going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to go to a random hood in the Bronx. Like, no, most likely your guy's not going to meet you. You want to think, where would he go if he was trying to meet me? What makes the most sense? Most people are either going to say like the Statue of Liberty, all right? Or they're going to say maybe Central Park. But most people are going to say Times Square, right? The Big Apple, the heart of New York, Times Square. That's where the ball drops. That's maybe one of the most famous cities in the world, okay? Times Square, that spot is so famous that most people might think, this is where I will meet them at noon. Right? You have a very good chance of finding them. Let's say we're going to meet up in Nevada. Okay. We're going to meet up in Nevada. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to the capital city of Nevada. Most people think that that's Las Vegas. Okay. It's Carson City, but most people are going to think Las Vegas. That's where you're going to go. You're going to go to Las Vegas. We're going to meet up in Nevada. Okay. We're going to meet up at Las Vegas. We're going to go to the strip. We're going to go downtown. We're going to go to Las Vegas. That's a Schelling point. Schelling points don't just have to be grids. They don't just have to be places on a map. Schelling points can also be money, all right? The Schelling point of money for a very long time was this right here, gold. Gold was the Schelling point of money for thousands of years. Why did people arrive at gold as a Schelling point? No one had to be like, hey, everybody, we're all just going to use gold now. People naturally emerged and naturally met on this point. right? But why is that? Because gold has certain properties of money, right? Gold has good properties that make it good money. What are these properties? All right. We have divisibility. We have fungibility. We have actually saleability, like how saleable is the asset in an economy. We have the way that it stores value. Okay. We have portability. We have scarcity. And then we have durability, right? These are the core aspects of money. These are the core pieces of what makes something money. All right. And gold did this really well for thousands of years. But the problem with gold really is partially its divisibility, its portability, and in part its you'd say its fungibility. Right. So when we talk about fungibility, we just mean like verifiable. Like how easy is it to verify gold, right? Because you might think, oh, well, I can just look at it. That's just the gold right there. There's fool's gold, and also there are tungsten bars that are gold plated, gold coated, right? There's gold plating. There are ways to fake gold, right? Divisibility. The issue with gold is if you have gold being a certain amount of dollars per ounce, right, and you're trying to pay for something really small like a coffee or maybe candy, just small purchases, it's very hard to pay in gold, okay, because you can't make the coin small enough, and it's not really practical to shave off little shavings of gold to pay for something. It's not really practical use. And then when it comes to portability, gold is very heavy. So when you have nation states that are settling trade deficits, right? Let's say that the United States owes $2 billion to France, right? It's really hard to transfer $2 billion of gold over to France, right? So what ends up happening is we end up centralizing the control of gold. So instead we just say, hey, you know what? We've got $2 billion of gold in our bank, okay? It's in our treasury, it's in our Fort Knox, it's in wherever. We're just gonna keep like a little ledger, and we're gonna claim that we basically owe you $2 billion worth of gold, all right, without having to transfer it over to you, because we got to send it by a boat, and then that boat might get taken over by Somalian pirates, you know what I'm saying? They might be like, I'm the captain now, you know, take the boat over, steal the gold, the ship might sink, the ship might basically take too long to get there, it's going to cost a lot of money to get the ship there, it's going to take a lot of military personnel to protect the ship from the pirates to make sure that the gold gets there. There's a lot of problems with moving the gold, and also it takes a long time. It's a very heavy. The portability problem is the main issue with gold, especially when it comes to it being a global reserve asset. It did a great job in a world that was not globalized, in a world that was not digital, in a world that was not interconnected. But today, in an interconnected world, in a digital economy, in a 21st century economy, we need something novel. We need something divisible. We need something portable. We need something durable. We need something fungible. We need something scarce. We need something that holds value very well over time. We need something like, oh my God, that was so good. Oh my, bro, that's such a good circle. We need something like Bitcoin. Wow. Wow, that was so good. You saw it here first. I'm the best artist on YouTube. We need something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin holds all of the same properties of gold, but it enhances on them. It builds upon them, right? That's why people call it digital gold. It has a immutable scarcity. Okay. The scarcity of Bitcoin can never be changed. All right. Very sad that I have to erase that perfect circle. Now here we have demand, right? We have demand for scarce assets. It's constantly going up because people want to own stuff, especially scarce stuff, especially valuable stuff that will never stop. Okay. Part of that is human greed. And the other part of it is wanting to preserve your purchasing power. Okay. And expand your purchasing power. All right. That's the demand. Here is the supply side of Bitcoin. The supply side is always the same. It is never changing. It is inelastic. It's always flat. So the supply can never meet the demand. All right. So the demand has to keep rising in order for people to maybe start selling off some of their coins. If the demand is not high enough, right, then people are not going to sell. They're going to hold on to their scarce, desirable asset. All right. Meanwhile, when we have other assets, let's just say gold, for instance, if the price of gold continues to skyrocket, what do people start doing? They start looking for more gold. They start looking for more areas they can potentially mine gold. They start releasing more gold that they've been storing. People are willing to sell their gold. They're willing to trade in their gold. Basically, the rush for gold is going to lead to more supply coming onto the network, coming on to the map. All right. That's what people do. That's what entrepreneurs do. They see opportunity, they capitalize on it. All right. Let's say the price of a strawberry is $500 per strawberry. All right. The demand is going way up. Guess what? Guess what the supply is going to do? The supply is going to follow until demand is met. That's the law of supply and demand. Because you can bet you're behind. Okay. If they're selling $500 strawberries, if you can make $500 per strawberry, I'm starting a strawberry farm. I don't care. I don't care if I live in a desert, little bro. I'm going to figure out a way to get some strawberries coming out the dirt. All right. And then I'll be able to meet that demand and get paid for my efforts. Okay. I'm going to meet the demand of the market, and the market's going to reward me with value. They're going to reward me with money. Okay. That's how it goes. But in a Bitcoin standard, you cannot actually meet the demand by increasing the supply. You can only meet the demand by increasing the price. And all of these reasons are why people are going to emerge onto Bitcoin as the Schelling point. Okay. Because if you don't emerge onto that as the Schelling point, you're essentially going to get left behind. What happened to people who continue to use strawberries as money? Okay. Let's call this the strawberry chart, right? If you use strawberries as money, the main issue with strawberries is that they do not store value. So the first couple days, they're fine, they're ripe, they're fresh, they're good. But eventually, very quickly, they steeply fall off a cliff. Their value goes down to zero because the strawberry is now rotted and you can no longer use it as money. No one wants to buy it from you because it has evaporated. Okay. And the people who use gold as money, slowly over time, it might not be a beautiful curve like this, but more and more people join the gold network, right? And people started to realize, oh wait, gold doesn't rot, it doesn't rust, it doesn't go away, it doesn't break easily, it's very hard to destroy. You can actually turn it into coins, you can give it to other people. And the people who held gold got richer, and the people who used strawberries as money got poorer. They got broker, all right? This is what happened to the gold bugs. Now, let's use another example. This is the modern era, okay? In the modern era, people who are holding gold, right now it's going up, but as we go over time, you're going to see that gold slowly gets demonetized. Why is that happening? And we can pull up a chart. I'm actually going to put a chart of gold priced in Bitcoin. This is actually happening now. What's happening is more people are coming onto the Bitcoin network and they're realizing, okay, there's a little bit of volatility, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is actually more valuable, it's more scarce, and it has better monetary properties than gold. Even though it's something that I cannot hold physically, a digital thing does not mean that it has no value. You're watching this on a digital platform, by the way, and you're going to complain about it in a digital comment section. And that's because, just because something's digital doesn't mean that it's valueless. Doesn't mean that it has no inherent value. Okay, people really have to get over that mental gap of, oh, it's digital, therefore, no, it's digital, therefore it's better money, right? That's actually a positive property of Bitcoin. Its portability is unlimited because it has no weight, it has no mass. It is a digital asset. It is the first digital asset of its kind. It is its own asset class. It is a digital commodity. That is the invention of Bitcoin. That is the invention of Bitcoin. That is the discovery of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the discovery of digital scarcity. And it is truly a powerhouse that all people eventually who are rational actors will converge on as the global neutral monetary asset. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, okay? Share it with someone who you think might also enjoy it. I hope you guys left your comments, okay? Because I wanted to see who was able to meet at the Schelling point. Okay, who actually got to the Schelling point. So if you participated in that, thank you very much. It's people like you that help to grow the channel. Share it with someone who you think might enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. This has been Satoshi Guapamoto. I'll catch you on the next video. Stack sats or die trying.